The year comes to an end. Crime and quality of life are top on the minds for many New Yorkers.
And now growing concern over the influx of migrants the city is bracing for heading here from the southern border. Mayor Adams warned Monday that the stream of asylum seekers will impact every service that New Yorkers rely on, including the NYPD.
I don't think we wanted to hear that, but we're going to talk about that with the police commissioner. She is here this morning. New York City Police Commissioner Keechant Sewell, nice to have you here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So before we get to the migrant crisis, do you have any update on that shooting at a Brooklyn subway station where one man was armed who worked for the subway system, and do we know if the other man was armed?
At this point, we have not recovered a weapon on an individual. Obviously, it's a very troubling incident. It's still under investigation at this time. The individual is known to the police department, and he was taken to the hospital and is in critical condition at this time. We have a lot more work to do in that investigation.
So let me ask you something. Would this guy be he's not a victim if he's got some kind of rap sheet, right? And he's allegedly accused of menacing these people that they thought they were going to get hurt. Would he be considered mentally ill? Would he be under that umbrella where he would be taken to the hospital and given services?
Well, we still have a lot to do in that investigation, so I'm not able to say that at this time. But since the beginning of the year, the mayor has talked about the mental illness that's plaguing the city, and he has vowed to do something about it, and he has charged us with being a part of that solution as well. So while that remains to be seen where this individual will fall on that spectrum, we are certainly looking for that in the subway systems and across the city.
Have you started pulling people off the streets yet that you think are dangerous to themselves?
So we have been doing this consistently. The NYPD has always been a part of determining whether a person is a danger to themselves or someone else. And as far as the mayor's plan goes, as far as removing people involuntarily from the street, we have been a part of that plan from the very beginning. We weren't blindsided. We weren't just coming into this discussion out of the blue. And this is something that we've done and we will continue to do. There is an area where people who may not necessarily fit the conventional definition of being a danger, but they are unable to care for themselves, and clearly they need some assistance. And that's where we come in and with our partners in the city.
Because I think a lot of people might forget that this rule was in place already. He's just telling you guys to enforce it.
That's exactly right.
Let's talk about the migrant crisis, because we've been talking about it, this whole entire year. Things were happening before this year. But we're really seeing it hit the city very hard. I mean, we're seeing estimates of $1 billion a year to take care of the migrant influx and to house them, to care for them. The mayor is saying that this is going to affect the NYPD. How does that affect the NYPD moving forward?
Well, the NYPD is charged with the public safety of the city. And with more people in the city, obviously, we have to be concerned for their safety to make sure they're not becoming victims. And we also have to make sure there's not an increase of crime that's associated with more people coming into the city. So the NYPD is a part of that. The mayor has a holistic plan with other city agencies, and we'll do our part.
I know you're in talks with the mayor, but he seems like he is very, very frustrated with our president, with our governor, asking for this support monetarily, and we have not been promised that. What are the communication like with the mayor? Because, again, we've seen the press conferences. He's very upset about this.
I think the mayor is perfectly capable of advocating for this city, as he does very well every single day, and I'm looking forward to being able to work with him on advocacy in other areas as well as it relates to criminal justice reform.
Can we talk a little bit about that burglary at Robert De Niro's house? Because I think it goes hand in hand with bail reform. What do we know about this woman that was arrested in Robert De Niro's house?
This is a chronic recidivist. She is a prolific burglar and is a clear example of the revolving door that exists in the criminal justice system now. It's something we've been talking about since the beginning of the year. The mayor has made it a point. I have made it a point. We have talked about this up in Albany as well. We've met with leaders in Albany to basically talk about what I believe are well-meaning criminal justice reforms, but recidivism is a huge problem as it relates to retail theft and burglary across this city, and it's something that we have to address. I don't think we can be obstinate in our positions. We can't talk about who's right and wrong. This is what we are seeing every single day, and it's a problem.
It sure is. I mean, we got, drugstores closing in our area, store clerks, young store clerks scared out of their mind because they've been robbed so many times. Do you think we've empowered the thief to think that it's okay? Because when this woman was arrested at De Niro's house, she was like, I didn't murder anybody.
Yeah.
There has to be consequences for behavior. And retail theft not only affects the businesses who are providing for this city, but it also affects communities. People depend on these stores to shop for essentials and for holiday shopping as well. We work very closely with our small and large businesses, our business improvement districts, to be able to curb retail theft, to have more officers in shopping corridors and be a presence on the street to prevent and deter crime, but also make an apprehension when a crime happens. But there has to be consequences for these actions.
Have you talked to the Manhattan DA about this? I mean, this woman's been in and out. I mean, she's been robbing for the last 2 weeks, nonstop.
The DAs are our partners in this, and we have been discussing retail theft strategies, and we'll continue to have those conversations.
I know when you say they're your partners, but you can also say maybe not a good partner, because when someone has 26 counts in their rap sheet, 16 prior arrests this past year, and says to the cameras, I didn't kill anyone, so therefore nothing's really going to happen. I didn't do anything that bad. That's a slap in the face.
We have to work together. When these people are repeatedly out on the street, it is incredibly frustrating, but we still have to be focused on our job. I believe that our DAs are with us in this fight to make sure we're holding people accountable. We may not always agree, but we can always keep that conversation going.
And speaking about just the NYPD in general, we talked to some other people, some members, saying that this was a bit of an iffy time, that there was retirees and numbers that they hadn't seen before, maybe getting pay increases outside of New York City. Is that something you guys are worried about? Because the situation can be dire, and from some other people's point of view.
There are people leaving. They have served this city well, and I congratulate them on moving forward to their next chapter, whether that be in retirement or another agency. But the NYPD is filled with talent, and we are continually ramping up our recruitment efforts. We are graduating over 500, hopefully at the end of this month, swearing in another 600. And as we build up post-pandemic to bring in more talent into the police department, I am very optimistic on what we're going to have.
Are those numbers higher or lower than it was, pre-pandemic or before 2020?
They are lower,
okay,
but we intend to ramp them up. The NYPD is a brand. They are extraordinary men and women in the NYPD. The women and men go out there every single day and do this job, and I believe that there are more people who are willing to join us in this effort.
Can we talk about New Year's Eve? Because obviously we get a big crowd in Times Square. How is the NYPD gearing up for this, and what concerns do you have?
We began to plan for New Year's Eve for this year, last year. So we are always prepared. I can say that there are no credible threats to New York City at this time. There will be things that you will see and that things that you won't see. Excuse me. We have one of the most sophisticated intelligence apparatuses in the world, and I'm proud to say that. So there will be air, sea, and land visibility. You will see the resources and the women and men of the NYPD out there in full force to make the city safe. I encourage everyone to come out for New Year's. Last year was a little bit more muted because we were still post-pandemic. This year we hope that there will be everyone that comes out that usually does, the millions of people that want to see that ball drop.
That's so nice.
But before New Year's, Christmas, what are you doing for Christmas?
So I'm very excited about Christmas. I hope to get out and be able to see the women and men that have to work and have to take time away from their families to make the city safe. Right now, all this week, there is an officer in a Santa suit driving around New York City with other officers in superhero costumes, giving out donated toys to the people and the children of this city.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to my own police commissioner's toy giveaway that's going to happen later this afternoon in Queensbridge House.
Beautiful. But listen, we know you're a chef. In your side hustle, what are we making for the holidays?
So I don't have time to make anything, and then during this year, I'm going to try a recipe that I don't think I'm going to like, but you have to be open to new possibilities.
What's that?
It's called maple macaroni and cheese. I'm more of a savory food person, but I heard this recipe, and I'm not really a sweet food person, but I'm willing to try anything.
Okay.
It sounds pretty good.
Can you bring us some?
Yeah, I was about to say, we'll take leftovers.
We're hungry.
I'll bring little ramekins.
Anyway, thank you so much, Police Commissioner Keechant Sewell. We appreciate you being here. Thank you for what you do for our city.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you and everyone else in New York City.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.